I've.
Hey. Wow. My family's in the audience tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry that audio blew out.
That's what you get when you ask a New York crowd to be noisy.
Well, it's better than being totally quiet. Don't you guys feel better now? You can ask questions. There we go.
All right. Yes, you can ask questions now. I'm a little scared, but otherwise we're good. So welcome to OnSet. I am Daniel Norton. Here today with...
All right.
Quiet out there.
Sir. You're making a fool of yourself.
We got Seth over here on the Mighty Mix. And we got Cadence as our model. And today we're going to... Yes, Cadence is amazing. So we're going to talk about color today.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about kind of using it in kind of a more subtle way. And we're going to talk about different ways we can do it. And there was a bit of a conversation. Those of you who are like local, hey, Ellie. Those of you who are somewhat local to New York and you just didn't bother to come in, you missed the pre-show where we learned all about setting our color temperature on our camera. So come to New York City, you get the extra stuff. I'm not even making that up, am I? No, all right. So I can't make up something like that. I forgot what I was going to do. All right, so we're gonna take some pictures today. You might notice, by the way, we have a white background. That is not because I want a white background, but rather because Joe McNally came in here, and some of you probably missed it, and ruined my gray paper. So if you see Joe McNally, let him know he owes me a roll of paper. All right, so.
Joe used black paper last night.
Did he? Yeah. Well, then why is the gray ruined?
Because it's your paper.
Oh, all right. I ruined my own paper. All right, so we're gonna walk through. We're gonna make some portraits. We're gonna talk a bit. If you have questions, please do ask. I will try to talk about the gear as we go, but I'll probably forget. So, of course, ask that question. People always want to know. The coffee from, actually, you might want them from this particular vendor is a kind of bitter. All right. All right, so let's just start off and get just a basic shot, and then we'll start messing around with some color. So, Cadence, please take your place.
Why is it always your first day? Like, what is this? Like,
I've never done this before. All right, here we go.
Ever.
This is a Profoto B10x Plus. It's fitted into a 3-foot octagon. So if you want to be cool, use an octagon. That's what everybody uses these days. All the kids. They got their octaboxes. See, Bill agrees with me. Bill over there in the store selling some octagons. All right, so no, this is so. Before we get this question, the thing about the shape of the box is going to dictate kind of how it flows out, right? All the boxes will send the light out in a certain, 120 degrees, 150 degrees, depending on the light. The modifier should say. But the thing is, when you have an octagon, you're kind of even, right? It's kind of like using a square box, but not quite. Some people talk about, whoa, it looks like the sun in the eyes, or it looks like a window. I don't care about that. I care about where the light falls, right? So for me, I like an octagon because I can send light this way, which we can then bounce back. So you might get a hint on the first thing we're going to do. All right, we're not going to worry about getting the background white, because that's well above my pay grade to do that. All right, so this is in the A group. We're going to use the remote that's on my camera. But before we do any of that, a word from our sponsor. No, before we do any of that, I'm going to set up. We want to make sure that whenever we're doing a lighting demo in Adorama, or just a photo shoot in general, that we are in control of our space. That's one reason why we use lighting, right? There's lots of reasons to use lighting. One, it makes you look cool. Two, you can charge more. Three, it puts you in control of the space, right? With this flash, I can control this space. You're all in here. There's this beautiful light. Seth took a long time. Go back to his stories. You'll see all the time he took.
it wasn't that long. Would you stop? Like,
he handcrafted each one of these lights. But, this is nice light in here, right? But it's not the light that I necessarily want for what I'm going to do. We might play with it later, but if I'm trying to make a portrait of Cadence and I want this nice octagon light, I want to make sure that that's all the light that's affecting my shot. So first we're going to set up what I have come to call the black frame, which is effectively we're just telling our camera to take a picture where no light from the space affects our shot. We set it at the fastest shutter speed within the normal range, the lowest ISO within the normal range, so 200, 100 in this case, and then we adjust our aperture until we get effectively no exposure. So if I look through the back of my camera, it looks black at 7.1 here, but just to confirm, we'll take a shot. Make sure the flash is off, because that's always, that we have to do editing later. And boom. Seth never edits these live videos. He always tells me he's going to. All right, so we can see here I'm in Capture One. This is the new Capture One. People always ask me if I have the new one. No, I do. All right, so the frame looks black. We're gonna jump in here. The final test here from me is I always grab the exposure slider and just kind of drag it over till I start to get some skin tone coming up. And that's basically how underexposed I am, if you want to think of it that way. About 2.5 stops is good for me. That's basically setting my shadow level. It means that nothing in the space is affecting my shot. If I take a picture with no other light, it's a black frame, right? So everything that comes out of this that creates the image that could be amazing, I take credit for. Everything that's terrible, I'll blame the TTL system. All right, so we turn the flash on. This is in the A group, so I'm going to turn off the B group and the C group. So effectively, I've actually got some comments post like directly to me where people say, I have no idea what you're talking about. So let me just quickly take a second to describe that. When you're using a remote on your camera to control flashes, you can put them, there's like channels, right? So like my channel, your channel, so we don't interfere with each other. And then there's groups. Groups are going to be flashes you can control independently. So this is my A group, meaning that I can control it separately. Then this flash is in my B group. That's all that really means. So this is the A flash. I'm in TTL, which is going to give us an automatic exposure, if you will. And we're going to see what happens. There we go. Perfect. All right. Thanks for coming. Next week, we're going to... Oh, no. Okay, so we have this.
It's about color. You're done?
Oh, well,
it's about color.
I guess I have to add some... Okay, so we can see here that we've got an exposure. Now, you might be thinking, Daniel, that doesn't look right. Or Daniel, that looks perfect. Or whatever. When you're here, and this is one of the things we were talking about before we started, all of this comes down to your vision of what you want this thing to look like. Like I can see Cadence in front of me. I have an idea of what she looks like. So I can zoom in on here and see, is this kind of how I would like Cadence to look with nice bright light on her, right? And I think so. I like my shots to be a bit hot, but you can actually come up here and just make sure you're not blowing out. So 255 across the board would be white. And we can see that while we're kind of pushing it in the reds, which makes sense because that's where her skin tone has a lot of red, we're not overexposed at all. So I'm happy with that. If you thought that it was too bright or too dark, we could then adjust our exposure from here. But let's assume that we like that. And yeah, now I'm done, right? No, color. All right, so let's take a second and talk about adding color to your shot and in different ways that we can do it. And then we're gonna kind of play with it and see what we can get here. This is a pretty basic shot. And the thing is that the first thing we do when we're learning to put color into our shots and we get gels and stuff is we just make the background blue, right? Like that's it, wow, background blue, oh, hey. And that's awesome. It's a good skill to have. It can save you a lot of time. You should probably just buy a blue background, honestly, if you're gonna shoot a lot of blue, but you know, you can make this blue, and I could do it. Go back and watch 17,000 videos where I do it. But the important thing here is the subtlety of color, how we wanna use it in our images. And one of the best ways that we can add color, and this is something that we used to get a lot when we used to shoot film, analog for you kids, is that every type of film would have a different feel, like in the highlights and the shadows. It would have a feel. You'd shoot Fuji because it looked a certain way. You know, Kodak was really warm in the highlights. Fuji had this kind of interesting green, you know, and people would shoot it for that reason. Since digital is kind of flat and we can do whatever we want with it, sometimes people will just color grade the heck out of it. But I, being a lazy person and don't want to do it in post, I'm going to try to, well, I'm going to try, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to succeed. We're going to add a little color into the shadows. So one of my favorite ways to do it, which I actually learned from Seth a long time ago, is, I mean, not that I didn't know this, but he showed me how to do it, is when you are, so let me just make a quick statement here. When light passes through or bounces off something, that thing becomes the light source, okay? This is important. So if the light comes from our light, okay, it's going through a nice soft light here, and then it bounces off, oh, I guess you could see it already, colored paper, the light will become color on some level. And if we bounce off the color paper, it will fill the shadows with a subtle colored light. In this case, pink. Or green. What do we like?
Pink.
All right, pink. Now, of course, her skin tone is already pink. All right. Is my arm long enough? We're going to find out in a second. So we're going to get her in position. We're in TTL. Actually, let me turn the modeling light so you guys can see better. don't know if you can see it or not. Boop. All right. So what we're going to get here is, I probably should use a more shadowy shot, but we're going to start here. I'm going to bring this in. Oh, I can already see it. It's almost too good. Should we? No, all right, I'll do it. We're going to bring this in, and we're going to bounce color. Right? Too much, right? They didn't seem impressed by that.
You
I didn't hear an ooh or nothing.
impressed about what? Holding paper?
Well,
Where'd you learn that from?
I learned it from you. I already told you that. This guy. All right. I should have done it this way first. Let's do it with a white reflector. Forget that I did that. Okay? See the difference here. So obviously this is just the paper we had and we just kind of threw it up here. You can actually pick and choose and mix things to kind of bring subtle color into the shadows. And we're going to actually do that now. I'm going to actually mix this. Do we have a clip or a clamp or a person? Well, I'm going to mix it. I'm going to do half weight, half. Yeah, there we go. Oh, a C47. All right. Yes. Who volunteered? All right. You'll get no discount, but thanks. Now, if you build this, I'm going to have to sue you because it's a trademarked thing here. We do sell them. You can find them on my website. All right. Don't screw it up.
I won't.
We're live. And people are watching. They're like, that guy doesn't know what he's doing, but you can do it. All right. I've got confidence in you. So here's the thing. I was holding it real close, right? And that was giving us an intense color. Also, that was the only thing bouncing back. Now we've got white, and it's further back. So we can, yeah, it looks pretty good. Do you think that's right? I mean, you're looking at me. Why are you looking at me like I know?
I'm following your instructions.
Are you?
Yes.
This guy. All right.
Obedient.
All right, here we go. All right, we see the difference there, right? Okay. If this was like a clickbaity, like YouTube thing, it'd be like amateur, pro, right? Right, but so you can see how we can mix it, right? How are we making it more subtle? Even though this thing is, you know, Seth bought this paper to make Valentine's, you know.
Yeah, and you didn't care about any of the ones I sent you, and here I am, all alone.
This is what he sent me. Not shaped like a heart. He just literally sent a rectangle. Like, how is that a Valentine? But we can see.
It's indicative of my heart, you cruel, cruel bastard. Die now?
You're killing me over here. All right, so we can see how we can add this. Let me just go to the big picture again. This is making sense, right? All right. Subtle, right? It's a little more subtle now. And we can do it even better. Can you do it better?
Yes, we can.
What do you think would make this better? Black card.
Black card.
A black card, good idea. Hold that. This could be better. We're not sure. Now, the reason why the black card might make it better is because it's going to allow us to move the light further back, but not get as much fill, right? Because again, the white is giving us extra fill. You know what you do. Do I get paid by shot or by time? Okay, neither. All right, so we'll start here.
I can't today, Daniel.
All right, here we go. Mm-hmm. You see it's richer, right? Richer. Poorer, richer. Because in the case of the top one, if I can click on two at once, the white is filling in as well, right? So we're getting a mix. So we can play around with this idea, this concept. We can use as much or a little as the white and the pink as we want. Does that make sense? All right, yeah, I think so. People are nodding. I don't know online. Maybe you're not online. Let me
No,
know.
what's up with this chat? It's like no one's talking. You guys got questions of Daniel? He's
By the way, this is Seth gives me half a board. What's up with that? Wait, there's a slit in it though.
You wrecked my boards for 10 years in this place.
I did. That's true. All right. Should we do one more like this with the thing, or you got this? You got this. All right. Moving on. We can also, yep.
But you could use gels on the whiteboard if you.
You can also, there you go. And the other thing a gel is going to do for you is it's going to, because gel is reflective, plastic, right? So a gel, people don't know what gel is. All right, let's see. Seth gave me a whole selection here. Well, these are nice.
None of those are in order. I just shoved them into boxes.
Let's see. You like that one? Oh, all right. Cadence likes this one. So the gel, that's that ASMR for you. The gel is plastic. Plastic is going to reflect, is going to create a little bit more of a specularity, right? Also, the light's going to go penetrate it, hit the whiteboard. So we can do, you got more clips. Well, you know what we're going to do. You know what we're going to do, right?
Yes.
Another color.
Yeah, we're going to do 2 colors. We're not, well, I would have 2 of the same color, but that would be a lot to ask. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a secondary color that we think will complement it, like pink, right? This is a much more subtle pink. By the way, this is not a gel.
It's a diffuser.
Having burned many of those on my hot lights back in the day, trying to be cheap, that's not a gel. All right.
Well, Dan's doing this. You guys in the chat can hit like. There's like 150 of you and only 30 likes. I get it. I know it's Dan, but still hit like.
If you like the video, Seth will moonwalk. Can you moonwalk?
I will moonwalk.
Cadence will moonwalk. I cannot moonwalk because I have
I
bad
will
knee.
moonwalk in heels.
Oh, all right. So,
I can't today.
this is what we do here. This is a unique way to hold it. All right, so let me teach you something. I'm going to give you a hard time. So when you're holding something, let's say, for instance, I'm going to reflect light onto this gentleman. This is what you're doing. Okay, do you see the problem with that?
Yes. Fingers.
Not your fingers. You're not looking at the person. You have to see what the lights do. Okay, so watch. See how I can do it?
Okay.
I can see you. See the difference between that and... You see the difference, right?
Yes.
There, to see that? Okay, well done, well done.
Quick
Thank you,
learner.
Okay,
assistant.
come,
Quick
come this
learner.
way slightly. Turn this way, in. Turn the light this way. There you go. All right, here we go. This is it. This is the shot. You're in a little bit, but that's okay. I can crop you. Oh, look at the subtlety of that. Except that you were in the shot. Terrible. No, I'm kidding. Now we can see that when we compare this to the plain point reflector, right? Here she is just flat, filled in, kind of boring, you know, boring, and Cadence is far from boring. Here we have a little bit of shape and tone, and we're doing it with color. It's just adding a little bit of color so it has some natural feel to it instead of just having a dark shadow, because obviously the dark shadow does the same, right? I could just leave it a shadow. But by having some color, and we can control this. Again, we can put it on the blackboard. There's lots of, you want to see it on the blackboard? You do. One more. I'm getting paid by the shot. What?
Abs in the chat. Say what's up.
Ab's in the chat. What's up, Ab? So Ab is often on Adorama TV and is an amazing photographer. All right, what's up? We're building gel stuff here.
You're like the entire world in your chat. Florida, UK, Australia, Germany, France.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Everyone, whenever Seth goes live, everyone is from Brooklyn. With that one
Yeah.
dude from the Bronx. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure what the deal is with the Bronx person, but they're.
I have no retort.
All right, this is the important one right here. Cadence is going to want to use this as like her, you know, her shot on her social media, whatever they call it. The kids call that. Boom.
Instagram.
Yeah, there we go. Now we've got the dark with just a touch of color, but we can do better than this because this is just a very basic way to kind of demonstrate the point. Let's get some control. This is what we call. Thank you.
Round of applause for the guy holding the board.
Hey.
It's a community,
We're gonna
people. Got to encourage each other.
What we're going to use is something called active fill. This is passive fill. Passive, think, you know, Seth, active, me. Or probably the opposite of that.
This whole chat is loving your new haircut, Cadence.
Oh, what about my haircut?
Your hair hasn't changed since 1984,
I
so
know, that's true. All right. All right, so a passive fill is basically when we're going to bounce light. That's almost always the case, right? Or passive might take some of the ambient light. Some people will say that. But ultimately, an active fill light is going to allow us to fill it with another light source. And we could use a flash, right? We could use a flash, and that flash could have a gel on it if we wanted some color. Or we can use a color LED, which is kind of my new favorite thing to do because it bothers Seth when I do it.
doesn't
Actually,
bother me. Shut up.
We're gonna do it right now. You know, I'm gonna do the finale right now, just so I can leave early. No, we're gonna. These lights here, because people can't see them online. Oh, these lights you can see online, these are all color changing LEDs. So with the snap of my, actually if I snap my fingers, Seth will just stare at me. So with a kind request, Seth can make these a color. So what color should Seth make these lights? Purple.
Is this what we're doing? We're not a democracy anymore? We're just going by this guy? We're just going. I don't know. Where am I? Purple over here. All right. So, sorry, I programmed these to be one at a time, guys. It's very anticlimactic.
In the meantime, does anybody have any questions about Seth and Brooklyn or about the lighting?
Yeah, ask me everything about Brooklyn.
Where you can get the best slice?
Well, I mean, that's the problem with New York is there's a lot of pizza. It doesn't mean it's all good pizza.
Right.
And then everybody comes here and goes, oh, my pizza's better where I'm from. And then you go, well, you went to the wrong place. If it's $1 slice, guess what you get? $1 slice.
I mean,
Accurate. That is accurate.
still though, I mean, dollar slice is worth it.
Is that purple enough? Or we'll kill out.
Well, we'll have to kill that
I'm
one.
going to kill it.
Okay,
Shut up.
thank you. All right, so in theory, we should be very purple in here now.
Actually, we look like we're in an infrared filter from like Kodak 1999.
There we go.
It's Oompa Loompa.
Yes. So now
Everyone looks totally healthy in purple light. Let
we
me tell you.
made all this light purple. So what's going to happen?
She's gonna be bright, and everything else is gonna be purple.
Really?
Let's find out.
She's going to be bright and everything else is going to be purple.
Did you guys forget about the black frame?
None of the light in the space is affecting our shot because we took control of it. But if we want to use this light, we can allow it to affect our shot. Lights, let's allow you to affect our shot. How are we going to do that? We're going to subtly mix in the ambient light. And when you are using flash, for the most part, I won't say nothing, the shutter speed will not affect your exposure. That is to say that if I adjust my ISO or my aperture to make this light bleed into my shot, my flash will change. But if I only change my shutter speed, this exposure should remain the same. In fact, to prove that, we'll prove, not that you know what I'm really doing over here, I'm gonna go off a TTL. So I'm locking this flash in now manually. So the flash is not gonna change. We are gonna bring in the lights. The simplest way to do it is I can, on the back of this camera, because Seth programmed it for me, I can basically press this button. It doesn't give me that fake exposure. And what I can do, thank you, Seth showing you through the cameras, I can just dial my shutter speed down. And you can see she's showing up, right? So this is now showing us that's my modeling light. This is showing us what will effectively be our new shadow level, right? Because the black frame, which was our old shadow level, right? So we can bring this in, and let's say we want our shadows to be like here-ish, okay? I take a shot. We should get nothing. Oh, the flash went off. Why did the flash go off today? That was weird. It should not have gone off.
What did you do?
I lost my
Try
tether.
now.
Just turn.
I think I lost my tether.
It's gonna be weird.
Oh, yeah, hold on.
I lost my tether. Story of my life. I'm over there tethering. Next thing you know, gone.
And now you're tethered.
Somehow I've pressed this thing now too, so it's like, okay, there we go. Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
All right,
And
I'm back.
There's your shots. Yeah.
Oh, it came back? Oh, look at that. All right. Now everything's purple, right? She's not bright because the flash didn't fire.
I just wanted to see something.
Right. Okay, so now we've got. Seth jumped ahead. Pretend like you didn't see that. So now we've set our baseline shadow level based on the light that's in the space. You could do this, let's say if there's beautiful warm light from the sun coming through a window, right? And make part of the image kind of warm, right? You could, we were talking about before, setting your camera, you could make that light coming through the window neutral by adjusting your white balance, and then fire with your flash, and then boom, your flash is cold. You can control how an image feels pretty simply. You can also just shoot it one way and then adjust it. If you're shooting raw, adjust that in post. Okay, so this is our baseline. And as you're about to see, it's not going to be that dramatic because we have to do something. But let's come in one more time. She's purple. We're shooting with the flash. Okay, and we can see that we basically have kind of what we had before. We have purpley shadows, but she's kind of bright. The thing is that, and this is very subtle, and we could work this if this is what you're going for, but I think we want to get it a little bit more intense. We want to prove the point and kind of work it, right? And what's the problem with this light? The problem with this light is the same thing that makes the light great. It's going everywhere, right? And because it's going everywhere, it's killing all of our purple. So let's get a light that's a little bit tighter. How are we going to do that? We're going to put a grid on it. But we don't have a grid for this light, so we're going to switch to a different light that has a grid.
You do this every time.
Yes, I do. That's okay. I figure at some point Cliff will come through with the grid.
Actually, Cliff, are you still in the store? You got a grid for a 3-foot octa?
He's probably got one in his pocket.
I'm
Come on.
sure he does, actually.
All right. So this is a strip light, strip softbox, OFC, OCF, something like that, strip, and it is 1 foot by 3 foot. So a strip box is effectively what you see there. It's long and skinny. Now remember what I said about the octagon, right? The octagon is throwing the light everywhere. The strip is going to be more narrow. But on top of that, I have an egg crate grid. The grid is going to cut the spread of this to 40 degrees, I believe. It says on it somewhere. We're going to say 40 degrees. Nobody's going to check.
Someone in the chat's asking if you get paid more if you use more lights. Does that count the modeling light?
What's that?
I knew this. Okay. They're saying since you always say you get paid more if you use more lights, does that count if you use the modeling light?
So the modeling light, you can charge extra for the modeling light if you have to use extra batteries. All right. All right. This is a strip softbox. I already said that. All right. This is in my B group. I'm going to turn off the A group. I'm going to turn on the B group. We're going to test it. All right. So what's the strip going to do? We're going to, by the way, I'm going to reset back to 200th of a second, just so we're not confusing ourselves. The building is not going to fall down, I hope. All right. So I'm back to 200th of a second, which means that we should have a black frame. And what the strip's going to do is it's going to narrow our spread of light, right? So we're going to come in here. I'm going to turn the modeling light on so you guys can see. And we can see that the light is, you can see how I can cut it on her face. I think you can see that. It was, actually, we probably can see it better if I, oh, thank you, Seth. Let's do this. This is very high tech. No extra charge for that. All right, so effectively, the strip's going to allow us to create more dense shadow, right? We can see that. So we're going to shoot the stripper to this way, hoping to get more shadow. Yeah, cool. So again, back to 200th of a second shutter speed. I never changed anything else. I'm going to put the light into TTL because, again, this is a different light, right? So it's not going to work like before. And we're going to take a shot. There we go. All right. Oh, very dramatic. All right, let's make it look good, actually. All right, so I'm going to tip the light down a little bit because that's like what you should be doing. And go like this. Nah. Well, unless it's terrible for the stream. All right, good. Much better. Okay. Now, coming back to this, I'm going to kill, now it's going to get dark. Now I want it back on. Thanks, Seth. Now I'm going to kill this modeling light. And we're going to get all the purple back. Bring back the purple. Oh, should have waited to set it first. The middle one's not up.
Maybe throw some blue in there.
Oh, a little blue too. Seth's getting a little creative over here. DJ Seth. All right.
What's going on?
I had all those blue DJ lights.
Oh my God, those were.
So who remembers the old event space before Seth made it? Yes, right? We bought these really terrible DJ lights to light this. Oh my God, they did nothing.
Yeah,
Oh.
but to show you how far lighting has come, the old lights in the ceiling were 8 inches in diameter, incredibly underpowered, and each weighed 10 pounds.
Yeah, they were crazy.
And we just cleaned out a storage locker full of them. And I'm like, we could have done today with one panel what that whole ceiling was covered in.
Yeah.
So it's
And the
just
color was just terrible.
there was no blue. It was like the weakest LED
Yeah.
in the whole
Oh.
thing.
It's terrible.
And they had power supplies.
Yes, it did. Well, we had them all stripped this. Oh boy. Okay. You kids don't know what you got. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back and we're gonna do what we did before. I'll just run through it again because it eats up time and I get paid by the minute. All right. So again, looking through the camera at 200th of a second, I'm gonna adjust until I feel like I like the exposure of the shadow. Again, I'm only looking at the shadow. So basically her, camera left, so her right. And then once we do that, we'll take a shot with the flash.
Never when I'm ready.
Perfect. Okay, hold on. We'll get one when she's ready this time.
Okay, yes.
Also, I feel like that's a little bit hot. I'm going to pretend like if this was a video we were recording, I would just delete this like this, and then I just get a perfect shot. That's what we do in the videos. A little behind the scenes there.
Yeah, if you're full of lies.
It's true. Do you remember the way that people used to do the old YouTube videos? They'd be like this whole elaborate setup, and they'd be like, click, and then a shot would pop up all fully retouched. Do you remember? Oh my God. Now we don't do that. We're into the raw thing. There we go. Now
She's in the club.
she's in the commercial. Right? Now we've got a little bit of subtle purple, a little bit of blue, maybe, not really. And we can see the background's got a wash of color. Why does it have a wash of color? Because where there's black in the top frame, or the left frame, there it's purpley blue here, right? Because that light in the left is just the flash, right? Make sense? So I can use this as I desire to create the look I want. We can make it even more by going like this. I'm already going to a profile. Oh, it's early. All right.
While he's doing that,
Oh,
there's double the amount of people in the chat than are likes. Like, it's free. Help him out. Make him feel better about his life. He feeds his family on likes.
it's true.
If you don't like him enough, I have to hold him later. Let's go. And if you have any questions, let's go in the chat, guys. Look at this.
I'm
Old
pulling a
Speedy
Seth
Norton,
here.
we call him. Look at this guy.
Oh. No, she's. I got all excited about the likes, and then she was. I was thinking about my mom and like how after she's like, "How many likes did you get?" Sometimes I have to lie, be like, "Well,
It's not all about the likes, Mom. It's about the journey.
they do like me, I swear." All right.
Oh my God.
All right, so we can see, I'm just making a more dramatic shadow so you can see how we can really work that, right? And we can actually leave, right? We can create a situation where most of the light is coming from this purpley light, and then we can just have little bits of color, of clean light, I should say. When you're working with color, I'm gonna try to fall over. When you're working with color, it's important.
I remember my first someone said too, Dan. It's all right. We'll get this.
Okay.
It's important to always make sure that you've got, to do a little more of a profile. Yeah, there we go. You've always got some clean light, right? We want some clean light because that then tells us this light is purple, right? If I use no flash at all, it just has this like overall feel and it kind of has some, it's not as interesting, right? Here, we're getting this naturalistic light. We're getting a little mood because this purple is kind of dark and moody, right? Like, where is she? And what would happen if,
Oh, no.
I know. This piece of paper was like $1, and I'm gonna hear about this for like 2 weeks, so I gotta make sure I use it enough. So it's gonna be like, oh, you didn't even use the paper. All right.
You know, he texted me at 5 a.m. He's like, you know what I would really need today? A cough, cough, cough.
That is actually true. Okay. Boom.
Not bad, not bad.
All right. All right. You see what we're getting there? We can mix the techniques and change them and move them and do the things whatever we like with them. That makes sense? Yes. But let's get a little more control. We're gonna, instead of using these lights, which we can't move, we have control over the color of them because Seth has the power over here. He's got this whole like, I mean, he's actually watching a different YouTube stream, but he's got this whole setup over here and he can change the color, but we have a similar light, if not the same light.
You have a question in the chat.
We have a question in the chat.
Someone's asking how much is inverse square law versus how much is angling. I'm not sure what they're going for with that one. Did you just read a textbook and just asking words? Did you?
How much of what is, so,
Throw a feathering
okay,
in
right.
there.
So the inverse square law, just I'll try to give an overall of this.
You want white light?
Basically, yes, please. Well, I kind of like the purple. I feel like a rock star.
All right, I'll leave it. I'll let you.
Can I have a microphone or like a stand? I can lean on it like I'm telling a story. When I
look
wrote
like the
this
guy
song-
from Korn in some lighting. You look like the guy.
All right, so
You want white light or not?
yes, please.
Yeah.
All right, so inverse square tells us basically that the closer the light is to something, the faster the light will fall off, or the opposite. So if we put the light real close to our subject, we're going to get shadow more rapidly, right? The other thing is the angle. So I think what they're saying is how much shadow is being brought in via inverse square versus angle. You know, part of it is angle, right? I would say a lot of it is angle in this case because we're effectively lighting one side of our face, right? We really didn't. I mean, just to give you an idea, when I was taking all these shots from this to this to this, I haven't been in TTL. The light's been set at the same power the whole time, I think. Let me make sure I'm not lying to you. Yeah. So I've been keeping the light roughly the same distance, and I've been moving it. So to answer the question, if that is the question, it's mostly the angle that's creating the shadows here, not the inverse square law, if that was the question. Otherwise, I just answered it anyways. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna kill this. This is that part of the live stream where it gets awkward, where I start moving around equipment and Seth yells at me, so get ready for that. No, we're gonna use an LED light, because now I want to truly have some control over where we throw our shadows. Like we could do some, oh wait, this is plugged in. It's so funny. I was just saying the set, like, all the lights used to be plugged in. Now we're so used to battery power, it's like you have a light that plugs in, and you're like, oh my God. All right.
I think it's set to red right now.
All right, well, red as it is. I'm gonna use this, you know, whenever you're buying C-stands, you're gonna look, and you're gonna see this little baby C-stand costs as much as the full-size one.
It's true.
And you're gonna think to yourself, well, that's not fair. But I gotta tell you, these are the most useful things. So we're gonna put this underneath and we're gonna do effectively a clamshell.
Do you want to keep it red?
Yeah, why not?
Just do it from this. Don't change that panel. Just do it from there. Like leave it in that menu,
Okay.
and then just tap through, which make the RGB happen instead of like picking a gel or whatever.
Gotcha.
You just changed to purple.
I'm basically making it purple. A little bit of red, a little bit of blue. That's purple, right? Anybody have Play-Doh? Or is red and blue green? Can't remember now. Somebody who plays a Play-Doh, let me know. All right. I just remember taking a painting class and we had to read a book and it was called something like Red and Blue Don't Make Green or whatever it was, or whatever those two. Oh no, maybe it's blue and red. Did I just say red and blue and then blue and red? I think I said the same thing. Somebody asked ChatGPT. I'm sure we'll get a good answer. All right. All right, so we're going to do what's called a clamshell light because it's always cool to do stuff that's named. Like, oh, you know what I think we need here is a clamshell light. This is good. Clients love that. All right, so basically what we're going to do, I'm doing it backwards because I feel like it. We're going to create a shadow pattern, a terrible, ugly shadow pattern with our underneath light because this is our fill light. We're just going to do this one first because I already started here and you know that's just how I feel. Sometimes you got to do things backwards. Yeah, could you come a little closer, kids? There you go. So what we're doing here, and for this I'm going to need you to kill the, yeah. But you can wait a second too. Well, we can do now. All right. All right. Everybody online, we're still here, I swear. Okay, so. All right, so this is our underneath light, our fill as it would be, right? So come a little closer. There we go. And we can see how it's creating kind of a terrible. Oh, am I not doing it? Yeah, I am doing it. Yeah. You know, it's kind of kicking up from underneath her. We're throwing shadows up. Somebody's going to see this right now and be like, oh, I love that. That's okay. You can like it. You're wrong, but you can like it.
Horror film.
Is this all the ways powered up? I'm going to say it is. All right. So it doesn't seem like it would be.
Or it might be because it's not daylight.
Ah,
Oh, no. Wait a second.
okay. So it's going to power it up.
Oh, yeah, because the white is where.
Oh, the white's where all the juice is?
Yeah, see?
Oh, yeah. Okay, no, we don't want that. Okay, no. Let's keep it dark.
So that's your saturation.
This is our shadow anyways.
Your saturation is.
Gotcha. Okay, so basically this is about as bright as we're going to get with this. And remember, we can control this any way we like. Now, what I can do here is I can consider that I don't necessarily need to be 7.1 anymore because Seth's turned off these lights, right? So basically, this is not really going to affect our shot. I can tell just by looking at it, right? So let's just get a shot. We're going to chop off the top of Cadence's head. So just for those online, you know, get ready for it. And we're just going to see where this red light falls. We're definitely building this backwards. Oh yeah, that's pretty bad. So what we can see here is this is effectively, and this is, by the way, this is not like right underneath the horror. I don't like to use that term because Seth doesn't like that. Horror lighting. That's not how horror's lit. It's more like how you would do a clamshell. When you're doing a clamshell, you want to make sure you're actually lighting and not going straight up because you don't want to create a second set of shadows. So I've got this in a kind of a fill position, and we can see their lights. Her face is kind of lit. I mean, if she looks down, right, because that's somebody's going to say, well, just have her look down. There you go. You know, if she looks more down into it, yeah, like that, then I mean, that's not going to look too bad because now she's lit, right? You still have weird shadows on the side of her nose, and she looks evil, but it's more evenly lit. And that's the thing, right? When you're positioning your light, if you don't want to have shadows under the eyes or whatever kind of shadows, if the light source is parallel to the angle of the face, that will eliminate most shadows. So if you want the light underneath her like this, then she's got to look down, right? But we don't want her to look down because that's creepy and I'm scared. All right. So we're going to add in, that's going to be our fill light. We're going to add in a key light, which probably should be a beauty dish, but I'm too lazy to set it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this.
I'm too lazy to say, let me just do heavy lifting with the strip.
Well, because I can.
Are you going to put it over
I don't know if you've ever seen this before. Should I do this? This is an advanced class. Are you ready for this? This is advanced. If it blows you away, just try to pay attention. I know. You've never seen that before because, you know, with all the pictures, it's this way, right? Strip bank. I approached Profoto. I was like, let me market a strip bank that's sideways. Almost had them. And they said, no, they'll figure it out.
Oh, God. We're on the next level today.
I don't really want that sandbag on there because now I can't move it. It's just trying to break my back here. But the sandbag police get mad if you don't put the sandbag on there. So
Yeah, you got a few sandbag police in your chat, so I'm just
yeah,
trying
we
to
got it.
watch
All right.
your comments there.
Boom, boom, we got it. All
I just
right.
want to go through your sandbag rant. I always enjoy that.
Yeah, no. I won't rant about sandbags. It's okay, sandbag police, we have sandbagged. All right, so
The sandbag police, blah, blah, blah.
all right. So as usual, and this is, I do this obviously because I'm doing a demo, and you can get lost following me because I go all over the place, but also because if you're trying to break in and do something different, it's worthwhile to kind of reset yourself when you change something, because that's how we kind of get confused. We being me, like you're working and you just keep doing it, and all of a sudden something doesn't work, and you're just like, I don't get it. So take a second, just reset everything. So I'm back to 200th of a second. I'm back to 7.1. Everything's the same. If we take a shot with no flash, we have a black frame, right? It's probably not as many stops under as before because that light's so close to her, but
Well, it's also red, though.
it's also red, so, yeah, we're like just about the same, right? So we're back in that same place again. Back at the beginning. Look at that. I remember when I first started, no, let me have a coffee here. It gets less bitter the more you drink. I'm not sure if you're just used to it. All right, so we've got the soft box up here, the strip box with the grid, because you get paid more for the grid. And you pay more for the grid. All right, I'm gonna go back to TTL. So again, TTL is through the lens metering. That just means the flash is gonna determine the exposure for me. My camera is in manual, that's important. People often ask me, well, they'll say, you're in automatic. I'm in manual. The flash is giving me an automatic exposure based on my manual setting. All right, so here we go. Let's see what happens. That was a good sound. Yeah, there we go, that's not bad. What do we have there? Kind of like a butterfly light, right? And no red in there. It's not centered. I guess I gotta swing it. Oh, I'm so lazy, I don't wanna do it. All right, hold on. I gotta do it right. I gotta fly it, yes.
Why?
Maybe you can just hold it. All right, I'll fly it. All right, give me a second.
Do it while you do a spiel.
Yeah, I'll spiel. All right, I'm gonna spiel while Seth does this. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. Maybe somebody has a question. Save me with a question. Nobody has a question because everything has been perfectly clear. I can't believe that for 1 second. All right, so normally I'd be fine with this because I'm not the type of person that's like, well, that's not a perfect butterfly light. But because I want to get the shadows color, I want to make sure it's centered. So what I mean by that is a butterfly light should give us perfectly even shadow, and you can see here it's to one side a little bit. It's not quite a loop light, but it's definitely not a butterfly. And if you were, if you were in photo college, you were trying to get your degree, and you turn this in, man, they would, nope, sorry, no degree for you. Right? Because that's what they teach you there.
People still go to school?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
I thought they just come here.
It's a different kind of school. You learn how to develop film and how to make butterfly light. That's what you learn in school. All right. Actually, I never made a butterfly light the entire time I was in college. I'll say that. Oh, that's beautiful. Isn't Seth good? All right. We have a sandbag on there. Now, it's important with the sandbag that it's on the tall leg of the C-stand and that all of your weight is distributed out over that leg. So it might seem counterintuitive when you're putting a sandbag on to put it on the same side as the light, but that's how you do it on a C-stand.
I don't know how you want it, so.
Yeah, I like that. It's good. And pro tip here, like when you have your assistant, and Seth's not my assistant, but when you have an assistant set up a light, you have to just come and like, no matter if it's perfect, you have to go like, good, okay.
Oh my God, Daniel.
It's going to go past you.
Yeah, it is.
Hold on,
Yeah, we gotta tilt it down more.
I got to pull it. Hold on, I'm having dinner.
Oh, you can do that while you're, okay. Oh, don't lift it with your sandbag on there, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Well, I'm not weak like you.
You're not weak, but you're old and feeble.
Whoa. This from a guy who's coughing every 5 seconds at a mic. If
Well.
I heard you, if you seen the way you walk, you didn't even stand up straight.
That is true. this wears on
This
you.
is a rare moment.
All right. So we're going to center her on the light. She's going to look at me, and we're going to take a shot. Okay, this again is, wow, that was bright. Okay, there you go. That, is that out of focus? No, okay. That is a butterfly light. You see the difference? Here, no college degree for you. Here, boom, valedictorian. Done, right?
That's so accurate.
Yes. Oh, we have a question. Do you prefer using flash on TTL or manual? So this is a good question. So it comes up a lot, and I enter it a lot, so I'll enter it again. TTL is incredibly accurate these days, and if you're using lights that you can depend on, I generally start that way. Once I get set up in a portrait, like if I wasn't changing it every 3 seconds, I would set it in manual, because the downside to TTL, which is also its strength, is that every time you take a shot, it's re-evaluating the shot. Which means that if I was making 30 or 40 images in a row of her once we get this light set up, which would be really boring to watch, which is why we don't do it, I wouldn't want that, because when I'm going into editing and everyone's like, just could be just slightly off a little bit, one's 1/10 brighter, 1/10, they're not gonna match. So once you get your light where you want it, I switch to manual, but I generally use TTL to get me in the right place. So that's that. And you use a light meter, actually, did I just do something about using light meters? No, I feel like I did one about light meters like just a couple days ago. Oh, I think I just did it on my channel. Go to my channel, I just did a video. What's that?
You did ratios.
I did ratios, I did something. But anyways, a light meter, like a handheld light meter, is something that is worthwhile to have for certain types of projects, but I almost never use it for this kind of stuff. All right.
What do you want to get into?
Nah, well, yeah, let's kill those and let's. All right, here we go. We're gonna use a little red fill. Did nothing, right? Why? Because I forgot to change the shutter speed because I was being a goof. All right, so, just like before. I like that though, that's pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna switch to my Tether. Okay, we can see, again, this is that, what do they call it? Fake exposure? This is when the camera just lets you see stuff, right? This is not the, this is the exposure simulation, or it's off. Live view, sure. So it's basically simulating, it's not simulating the exposure. It is live view, yes, but what I'm looking for is a term.
It's simulating optical.
Right, it's simulating like being able to look through the camera. Because the problem, early problem that people have with a lot of mirrorless cameras is you look through in a dark room and you'd be like, I can't see anything, right? Especially with flash. So this gives us just exposure so we can see what we're doing. Like to my eye, this is what it looks like. Terrible, right? But to the camera, it looks like that, right? Black, which is, you know, better than terrible. So what we want to do here is we're going to actually dial the shutter speed down. Remember we did that earlier? Until we get our shadow level where we want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now note that because of the angle of the light and how I'm going to keep her face, you can still see red light like on her cheeks and stuff. So we may get a little colorization, but we're going to mostly blow it out. So we're mostly going to see it in the shadow. So yeah, let's do this. So now we're back to the ugly. And Cadence is going to get in that doll-like pose that models get in. All right?
We're back to the ugly.
We're back to the ugly. There we go.
Thanks, Daniel.
You're welcome. I think it's... no, it's and we can see that in the shadow, it is filled with a red light. Now, red, of course, is not the color I would use to fill this because...
Well, let's do a white card so you can see how flat it is on white.
Aha! We're going to show how flat it is on white with the white card.
Hey, step in. Come on.
There we go. She fears.
I didn't know what was
Never
happening.
fear the white card.
I just was like,
All right, so this is just the white card. Boom, so we do that again. You know, and that's clear. Clear. What's that?
Got a nice gradient background. I like the background.
Thank you.
Dark.
Yeah, I did that. See that? If you, oh, by the way, can we actually do label this one how to get a gradient background? No. Yeah. So why is you understand why, right? So that's a good point. If you're lighting with just one light, and I basically am. This is nothing. This is doing nothing. It's just only giving a little fill on her, right? Because of the inverse square law, this light is like putting no light on the background. It's just not there. But this has a grid on it. Its angle is like this. We're getting a gradient. You used to pay for those gradient backgrounds. Now we can just do it right there on the camera. But yeah, it creates a nice gradient. Thank you. I didn't do it on purpose per se. I often just let the background go where I like it, right? But there you go. Grids.
I'm gonna try that. Just need one of those.
Yeah, you just need a grid in a strip box. Sideways strip box, special Daniel Norton as Profoto. They got them. They're making them.
You can see the dimension from the color.
Yeah, you can see how the color creates dimension. And of course, the problem with a passive fill is that, I mean, to some extent you can control it because we can move the flat down lower, the board, but with a grid, eventually we're not gonna have a light to bounce back, right? This allows us to put the light exactly where we want it, right? We can control our exposure, that's why it's active. Let's make it a different color though, because I don't really like that color. What's a good color for the shadows? Blue, that's correct. Blue is never a bad answer. How do you make the background blue? Not in Photoshop. All right. So yes, because as we perceive shadows, they're often cool, right? Light, warm, shadow, cool. So it's much more natural to make the shadows cooler. Yeah. Ugly.
Wait.
Well, I'm going to put it back on
Ugly? Not ugly.
Okay.
Thanks, Daniel.
You're welcome.
Confidence is boosting.
It's important. It's important that you know
Knock your
that you're honest with the mom.
Knock her ego down. a bit.
Exactly. You have to warn them. You're going to look terrible in the shot cadence, right? And then you just take it, and she can see that that this is just a blue, by the way. So there's the blue. Which did we shoot just the red? Yeah, we did. There's the red. We could do half face thing and do like a Braveheart. Was that Braveheart that was? Am I dating myself with the blue and the red? Okay, no.
There was no red in Braveheart.
Wasn't he like half and half face?
He was painting Scotland on his face.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking about like a football thing. All right, anyways,
Okay.
we'll cut that part.
Edit that out.
We'll edit that part out in post. Okay. So again, this is basically, what's funny about color is the perception of brightness is different too. So you've got to kind of go with your gut here, right? Again, going back to like light meters and stuff, these two might be the exact same exposure if we were to meter it, but the blue clearly looks brighter, right? Because it's just the nature of how it looks. So we're just gonna shoot this with the flash. Oh, for some reason it focused on her cheek. It was a little, just two of them. And then we got the blue. Oh yeah. I'm actually listening to Dune, the book. I'm listening to it, book on tape. And in Dune, people have like really blue eyes. No, you know about Dune? It's a very famous book. And the whole reason why I am reading this 800-page book is so that I can be one of those people that says, the book is better. That's the only reason. That's all I got going in my life right now. Okay, that seems a little bright. So again, if we want to control the density, I can control the power of the light if I want to do that, or I can just control my shutter speed. I'll do it with the shutter speed just because I don't feel like messing with the light. So again, going back here, we can look at this. Again, by the way, just in case you don't know what I'm doing here, because I don't think I explained it, Seth programmed my camera so that when I press this button that you can't see on the side, it actually turns off the exposure, or turns on the exposure simulation, or whatever it is.
It kills your stroke.
It kills the flash, basically. It makes it so that, it turns off the hot shoe. Yeah. So this was too bright, right? I didn't like it. So I'm just going to come in and turn my shutter speed faster until I get it where I want it. Let's say there, because that looks pretty terrible. And then we're going to come in, take a shot.
That looks pretty terrible.
Well, we want it to be like imposing and yeah. Wow, it's really intense. Can we make the blue less saturated-y?
Yeah.
Saturated, is that a word?
You got to look at it and tell me. 'Cause I
Yeah.
can't tell by number.
Okay. Like half saturation.
Simple.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to look. So we're going to judge the saturation. Oh, hold on. We're going to do it together. This is a joint project. You can join it online as well. Just tell Seth what you think.
This is about half on numbers.
All right. That's half by numbers, really? Okay. All right. I'm going to try it. I'm actually going to take a shot with just the blue so we can see what it looks like. Oh, interesting.
Saturation, though, you're going to lose
Yeah,
brightness.
yeah, and the brightness goes down too. That's perfect. Okay, I think that's good. I'm going to say perfect. Thank you. Oh yeah, see, it's much more intense, yet subtle. feel like it's still too bright.
You want to go farther?
Yeah, I think we need to dial. You know, I think that's a power issue at this point. All right, I'm going to bring this down. I'm at a 40th of a second. I'm going to go to a. Oh, they don't have a 90th. Would they get rid of that in these new cameras? All right.
Are you set in thirds or are you in half stops?
No, I'm in thirds. Okay, that's
Very subtle.
too subtle. All right, we got this. La 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 la. Stand by. Here we go. Nope, that's just the blue. There's the flash. There it is. Okay, now let's get a good shot. Okay, so come in.
Be less ugly. Yep. There you
Up,
go.
up, right there. Boom.
Be
Yeah,
less
when you.
ugly.
Yeah. Oftentimes when I'm trying to just like work something like that, like exposure, yes, it's just the subtlety of the blue. And we can play with this all we like to get it wherever we like it to be. I feel like I'm real tight on you all of a sudden too. I'm gonna back up a little bit.
What do you want? Top or head all of a sudden?
No, I want more background because I want you to see my impressive background.
Your background is
Look.
not impressive.
No, I just think it has more power when it's further back. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Questions, thoughts, concerns? No, nothing. Not a single concern. Really. We got kittens up here. Not a single concern. Okay. Yes.
So if you want to decrease the contrast on the skin, what would you do?
If I want to increase the contrast,
No, decrease. Yeah.
decrease. You want to make it darker.
Yeah, for skin to look more natural. Like his skin.
See, this gentleman, remember at the beginning where I said some people will think the exposure is too bright? You're that person. So basically, and that's fine. That's fine. Everybody, you know, it sees things. The way that I would do it, a quick way to do it is, because I'm tethered, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go, well, first of all, if it was the subject who said it, I would just do it in Capture One because they never know what they're talking about. But since you're a photographer and you want to know how to do it, well, because this is not my editing screen, you're looking at a TV, you know. So what I would do is grab the exposure slider and dial it down until where it looks good to me. Let's say there, which there I think looks too, now I think she looks weird. But anyways, let's say you like that. I'll look at the exposure, I'll go, okay, well that's 0.71. And then I'll just come up to my flash and I'll just dial it down. I'll just turn the power down. And then we'll take a shot at it. There you go. That's more naturalistic, right? You know what? Honestly, that's better. Let's do all the shots over. No, I'm just kidding. No, but there you go, right? So yeah, that looks good. Well played. Well played, sir. So yeah, if you like that exposure, boom, easy as that. Get your baseline in TTL. See where it looks like in Capture One or Lightroom or wherever you're tethering. Then make your adjustment, adjust your flash, lock it in, have a party. Shoot at least 25 to 30 images, and then call it a day. Is that good?
Sure.
All right. If you have not already, go to Adorama events.
Didn't you pull it up?
Yeah, but isn't there like a QR code? I'm going to point at it. Go to Adorama events, QR code there. There's all kinds of stuff going on here. I will be back next week. I know, 2 weeks in a row, it's crazy. Next week, we're going to explore the 5-in-1 reflector. Why?
Because you ran out of ideas.
I ran out of ideas, so I started asking people in the audience. This is what I get. So if you have better ideas, let me know. No, seriously, we're going to mess around with that. Everybody's got one. We're going to really explore it and see what we can do with the 5-in-1 reflector. That'll be super fun. This is Cadence Frank. Seth is last X-Witness. The X is silent. I'm Daniel Norton. Make sure you subscribe to Adorama. Take it away.
Thanks, everybody. Go check out the Adorama Events channel on YouTube as well. It's a new channel. It's the opposite of this channel, so all the other demos are on there. And everyone in the store, go talk to someone to sell stuff. All right, later. Bye, guys.